Ephesians chapter 5, verses 15 through 18 reads as follows. See then that ye walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise, redeeming the time because the days are evil. Wherefore, be ye not unwise, but understanding what the will of the Lord is. And be not drunk with wine, wherein is excess, but be filled with the Spirit. May the Lord add a blessing to the reading, hearing, doing, and understanding of his most holy word. As a title, candy is dandy, but liquor is quicker. Candy is dandy, but liquor is quicker. America, Church America, has a love affair with alcohol. It's rooted deep in the American history. And people hold on tight to this. The church has been attached with a controversy that goes on as it relates to the use of alcohol. And we have struggled. There's been a struggle. There's a struggle that inside the church with what should we do? Who should we accept? Who should we not accept? I have seen people asked to leave the church because they smelled of alcohol. So today, we need to examine this topic. I want to tell you something. Drinking of alcoholic beverages is not sinful. Isaiah chapter 62, verse 9 says this. It says, well, let me explain. It says that Jesus, the Lord was speaking. Isaiah was prophesying about a time that would come when you've heard it, that we would study war no more. In that day when we would stand in the presence of God, spend time in his presence. And he told about how good that day would be. But listen to what it says. Isaiah 62 verse 9 says, but they that have gathered it shall eat it and praise the Lord, and they that have brought it together shall drink it in the courts of my holiness. He's speaking of alcohol. He's speaking of wine in particular. And some have said that the wine that they had back then was not alcoholic. I don't believe that's true. Some would say that it didn't alter the way that you feel. I would not say that that's true. Ecclesiastes chapter 9 verse 7 says this, "Go thy way, eat thy bread with joy, and drink thy wine with a merry heart. For God now accepteth thy works." I'm reminded that our model, Jesus, who is the Christ, found himself in a situation where there was a wedding. A wedding at Cana. His mother comes up to him and he says, "Jesus, we out of wine." He says to her, "What does that have to do with me?" Nonetheless, he took that moment and he turned water into Kool-Aid. No, he didn't, did he? He turned water into wine. And then some will say, well, he did that, or maybe he didn't drink himself. Well, Matthew chapter 11, verse 19, he was mentioning about John the Baptist, and he said that amongst men there is no greater than John the Baptist. And then he said this of John. He said, now, what he was talking about is how fickle people can be. How you can't ever please people. And he said, John, when he came and he not eating and not drinking. And when he said not eating, he wasn't talking about eating what we did. He was eating bugs and stuff. But he didn't drink either. And you know what? And Jesus said, you know what they said about him? They said he's demon possessed. But then he said this. He said, but the Son of Man come, and he said, eating and drinking, and they call him gluttonous and a winebibber. So I say to you, drinking is not sinful. If it was sinful, then Jesus would not have been able to die for your sins. Still, however, you knew it was coming, didn't you? Doesn't something about it seem doesn't it make you feel kind of funny? One time I was invited to a person's house who knew that I was a preacher at the time. And I walked into the house, and when I went in, on their dinner table was a wine bottle. I noticed it. Thinking thing of it just kind of went on. And it took me around to another area of the house, and when I turned back around a few moments later, it was gone. There was something about it that just felt funny to have the preacher see a wine bottle in their house. But I want you to picture this in your mind, and I want you to think about this for a moment. What if you take a trip to local school, elementary school, and you walk into the classroom, and the teacher has passed out to each of the children little glasses of wine. They're all, not big glasses, little glasses of wine in a nice little champagne. And they explain it to you this way. They say, well, listen, in this day and age, our children are feeling so much stress. And so we give them this to relax. And in this day and age, our children come home and they don't talk amongst each other very much. They spend most of their time on Facebook, texting each other back and forth. And so we want to encourage social interaction. So as they sit around class with their little wine glass in their hand, sipping and talking, we're encouraging social skills that they will need as adults. Some of the children will say, yeah, and we kind of like the taste. Some say, well, I like drinking because it makes me feel better. Doesn't something about that just not seem right? Even though I told you drinking is not a sin. Why does it make us feel uncomfortable? What is it about it that just doesn't feel right? Let me try to paint the picture from another angle. Say the drinking is not sinful. Neither is carrying a stick of dynamite. Carrying a stick of dynamite is not sinful. However, something about it just doesn't feel quite right. You know why? Because it's not sinful, but it does have the potential for great harm. You could blow up if you carry around a stick of dynamite. Therefore, it is simply unwise. It's not a wise thing for you to do. Please, church, even though it's not sinful, please don't bring any dynamite to church. In fact, I would encourage you, don't bring it to church. Don't carry dynamite with you anywhere. Why? Because you have a church family that cares about your well-being. And not because it's sinful, but because it's unwise for you to do, because it has the potential for great harm. Therefore, I'm going to stick my nose into your personal business. I'm going to ask you to abstain from carrying or distributing sticks of dynamite. In fact, I'm going to say this. I would encourage you, don't even pick up the habit of picking up and carrying sticks of dynamite. And if you are currently carrying dynamite, I would ask you to stop doing that, because it has the potential for great harm. Likewise, your church family is also asking you to abstain from the sale and use of intoxicating drink as a beverage. Not because it's sinful, but because it can be unwise. Why? Because it has the potential for great harm in your life. You know, some of you are saying, well, wait a minute, I know those people have been carrying around dynamite for a long time. In fact, I've been carrying around dynamite for a long time. Ain't nothing that means. There you go. Amen. And I've never blown up. I've never even known anybody to blow up. I've heard it happen to some people, but it's never happened to anyone possibility is what we need to be careful of. I saw a video as I was reading through, studying. And it showed this. It showed a series of people, but there was one young man. And he said he started drinking at age 14. He was sneaking it. He was drinking at age 14. Then when he got a little older, that he would drink with some of his friends only on a social basis. But as life got started and got a little more difficult for him, there were times when the stresses of life just weighed him down, and he knew he could always go to the stash and find relief, at least for the moment. The problem is that when the high was gone, the problem was still there. It became a coping mechanism for him, he said. And it was a friend who was always there. However, as things went along and he began to find more stress in his life, he began finding more opportunities to find with his new friend. And the stresses won't go away. Jesus said, in this world you will have tribulations. Amen. The stresses just kept coming, and as he began to rely on his new friend so much more, he noticed that it had this effect. It began to change the way that he was. He became a little bit more aggressive. He began to do things that he wouldn't ordinarily do. He would lash out at people, and he would oftentimes get in fights. He said the thing that was a wake-up call to him is this, that he said that one, he had found a wife and had children, and he said he had been drinking one night, and he said he blacked out. When he came to, he looked, and his wife wasn't in the bed next to him. And so he goes into his daughter's room, and his wife and his two daughters were hiding on the side of the bed, hiding from him because of what he didn't even know was happening while he was blacked out. And it all started out with just a sneak. I'm just saying that it has the potential for great harm. There are people whose careers have been ruined. There are people whose family lives have been ruined. There are people whose health has been ruined. And there are people who have lost their liberty. They are incarcerated because of things that happened while they were under the influence. But it's not a sin. However, it does have the potential for great harm. It's unwise. It's not sinful, but it is unwise. Proverbs chapter 20, verse 1 says this. It says this, wine is a mocker. And it says strong drink is raging. It says wine will loosen your tongue. Make you say some stuff you wouldn't have said otherwise. And then it says strong drink is raging. Another version says is a brawler, because people, some folks get drunk and want to fight you. But don't you see, there's a whole different personality than the person is otherwise. The scripture says, it says, Bible tells us that everything that is lawful is not expedient. Said another way, everything, so many things are permissible, so many things are allowed, but they're not necessarily good for you. Look, King David had a problem. I don't think his problem was a drinking problem. King David had a woman problem. And he committed a heinous act. He committed adultery with Bathsheba, and then he killed her husband for the cover-up. His prophet, the prophet Nathan, came to him and explained to him. He had to say it in a way that the king could understand that what you did was wrong. And let me tell you, here's what he said to him. He said, let me tell you the essence of why what you did was a problem. He said this: you are the king. You represent the great God Almighty. And you have created an opportunity for the unbeliever to blaspheme God. You are a child of the king. You got to watch what you do, King David. Because people are watching you, and then they're going to look at what you did, and they're going to go, I told you that God wasn't nothing. Right. You, children of the living God, represent who God is to the rest of the world. And if they see in you acting like the rest of the world, then they're going to see, I told you. Their God ain't no different than we are. They act like the rest of the world. You have been set apart for a holy purpose and use. You are ambassadors of heaven. And so when the world watches you, you are saying this is what godly living looks like. And if you don't, you create an opportunity for them to blaspheme God. And we got to be careful about alcohol, because alcohol has the potential to become a god in your life. It has the potential, the very real potential, to become a god in your life, that people can get to the point where they depend on it for everything. They'll do anything to get it. They'll give up anything to have it. They'll risk everything in order to enjoy it. And alcohol becomes to them a comforter. Alcohol becomes to them a problem solver. But more importantly and more real to them, alcohol becomes their friend. Becomes their friend. And they find themselves looking for a helping hand from their friend, Jack Daniels. Or they find themselves looking for companionship from their friend, Jim Beam. Or they want some support from their good friend, Johnny longer. They need confidence. And so they go and talk to Captain Morgan. Or they try to find some encouragement that they can only get from old granddad. But I'm here to tell you,